Welcome to the next training module for today. Methods and importance of environmental conservation. Now, first we start with environmental conservation. These are two words, the environment and conservation. Now, there are a lot of definitions on the environment. Every sphere, every field has their own definition of the environment. The psychologists, the medical experts, defines an individual's environment as the physical things and places that the person lives within. Now, it is believed that this environment affects the growth and development of the person. Now, that is in the psychology or in the medical field. Now, going further, others has defined this field in different ways. But the bottom line remains that the environment involves both the living, that is the biotic, and the non-living, the abiotic community. Now, this whole, in summary, as we have before us here, says the environment is the natural world as a whole or in a particular geographical area, especially as affected by human activities environmentally. Now, it's a summation of so many definitions. Now, looking at the other word, conservation, it is the preservation of a physical quantity during transformation or reaction. Now, we are looking at the environment now. And if we look at it critically, we discover that every human activity affects the environment and will transform it from one form to the other, especially in our quest for human development. Now, that is why it is said the preservation of a physical quantity during transformations or reactions. Now, it's a careful preservation and protection of something, especially planned management of natural resources, like some of us who are into different form of activities, either the exploration world, solid mineral, and other forms of management using the natural resources to prevent exploitation, destruction, or neglect. Now, this is for conservation. Now, bringing the both words together, environmental conservation. This refers to the environment being used in a way that is sustainable. Environmental conservation is the protection of the Earth's ecosystem and resources from pollution and destruction. And this includes the rehabilitation of damaged ecosystem, that is saving the environment from being destroyed. Now, my colleague earlier talked about the social impact assessment. Now, why is this happening? Because most of the environment has been destroyed. And when we talk about the environment, it's diverse. Now, going further, we have this word, conservation, preservation. These are two words that are intertwined, and they are being used intermittently. Now, conservation and preservation are both methods that are very much necessary to safeguard the future of certain vital phenomena of the world, such as this. Now, the difference between conservation and preservation. Conservation is the protection, preservation, or careful management of the environment and natural resources, such as the forests and all. While preservation, conservation also is the preservation of natural resources for the future. But looking at preservation now is the act of keeping safe or free from harm or decay. That is to protect and prevent. Now, we have different scenarios. If you want to protect your food, you have your food, you want to keep it from getting spoiled, what do you do? You preserve it. You add some stuff to the preservatives to preserve it. But conservation goes beyond that. Conservation is not just looking at protecting that material from decaying from its present state, but it's involved in making sure that material is maintained in that state, and if possible, made better. That is where the difference between conservation and preservation comes to be. Now, the benefits of understanding environmental conservation is to clarify modern environmental concepts, to know the more sustainable ways of living, to use natural resources more efficiently, know the behavior of organisms under natural conditions, know the interrelationship, and bring awareness and educate people regarding environmental issues and problems at local and international level. Now, the environment as we see it, we say it's made up of the biotic and abiotic components of Earth. Now, for us to really look at the conservation, we are conserving the environment. We have to break them down. The biodiversity, that's the plants and animals, they have their environment. The forest, it's an environment. The fish, that's the marine life, it's an environment. Water itself, it's an environment. Soil, air, and this, human. We need to conserve the human too. So if we are to conserve all this and leave this out, then it's not complete. Because the human being, man, is also one of the greatest components of the environment. And I think when the creation of the world came, man was created last, because every other thing that was created, man was made to dominate, to take charge. So that's why man itself must be conserved. So that is why this had come into this. Now, methods for conservation. We have the natural or biological methods, we have the mechanical methods, and we have the social and legislative method. Now, looking at the natural or biological, this is the natural, undisturbed measures of replenishment of polluted, abandoned, and damaged environments. It is a natural phenomenon and can also be facilitated by man. Now, it is a natural phenomenon because it's natural, and when it's facilitated by man, it becomes biological. Now, some of the measures include rewilding, creating reservations or revegetation. Now, looking at the mechanical, in this first method, when we talk about creating reservations, I hope we know what it is. When you have like the national parks, the ranches that are being preserved, this is a natural and biological way of conserving the environment. And it affects all components of the environment. Now, the mechanical, the application of scientific and engineering principles to improve and maintain the environment. Now, these principles help to create solutions that will help protect and also improve the health of living organisms and improve the quality of the environment. Now, mechanical, scientific and engineering principles. In our various spheres of life, in our various activities, in our various different developmental strides, all activities we carry out, how do we ensure that these activities do not have a negative impact on the environment? Especially some of us who use large equipment to carry out our activities. Some of us who drive cars. It's also some of the things that impact the environment. So the mechanical method you use must ensure that these techniques, these activities are well conserved. Social and legislative. This is the building of human capacity, social, and application of environmental legislation, legislative, which serves to prohibit, restrict, and regulate environmentally harmful practices. Now, let's take the first of the component now, biodiversity. Methods of conserving the biodiversity, that's the environment, the plant and animal environment. Plan and coordinated efforts for sustainable use of biodiversity within the management system for forestry, fisheries, and agriculture. And this part is the ecologists, the animal scientists, they give you best practices for conserving the environment. Now, conserving genetic diversity in existing domesticated. Now, I want to talk about conserving genetic diversity. Talk about the various compositions of this one. You can preserve them to recreate. And it also involves what my colleague earlier said. When you want to start some species, you see how you can rearrange them or reproduce them somewhere. Now, it's equitably sharing the benefits of biodiversity through social and economic instruments. Social, like you said, SIA, social, enlighten people encourage them. Economic, empower people. Now, building human and institutional capacity to integrate measures at bioregional scales. Now, it shouldn't just be within a particular level. It should be both local, national, and international. Now, legislations protecting biodiversities. Now, this particular part is one method that must be applied. Not, when we say must, it's even a simple word. We say it must be enforced. And the legislations protecting biodiversity are enormous. We have local laws, local bylaws, we have national, we have international. And when you look at international, like we said earlier, Nigeria is a signatory to so many of these conventions. We have the Kyoto Protocols, we have a lot of these conventions that guides biodiversity. Now let's go to the next, which is the forests. The forest, the vegetations. Now you have regulated and planned cutting of trees. If we look at the present happenings, the human population is fast increasing. And for that reason, new towns are created. And how are they created? They are not created from the skies. They are not created from on the water. They are created on land. And for that, a lot of forests have been encroached into. Trees have been felled at random, reckless abandon. So there must be regulated and planned cutting of trees, control over fire forests. I think in a way we in the tropics we are a bit fortunate not to have suffered I think forest fire, though there are in the country. But in some areas, some parts of the world, forest fire is a major disaster. In Canada, for example, in the northern part of the United States, it's a disaster. Fires will rage for days and they burn off economic trees. You see firefighters come. There are some of these fire incidents that had to do with international collaboration to put them off. So control over wildfire, reforestation and afforestation is one very important technique. Recreating, replanting of some of these trees, protection of forest, proper utilization of forest products and forests itself, then legislation protecting the forest. Like we say, there are legislations and laws and bylaws and conventions that covers a lot of field, all geared towards protecting the environment. Now, this also must be implemented. We go to the next, the fish and the marine. One of the methods is regulation of rates of fishing and of fish production. Prohibition of overfishing. This, presently, is a menace in our society. Overfishing is a menace. A lot of research are coming up on omega-5, making it into capsules, into tablets. And where do they get these things from? The raw omega-5 is gotten from fish, salmon fishes. And there's a massive harvest of fishes for the extraction of it, for its use. Now, rate of fish breeding should be increased. That's fish farming. Help take care of the water bodies. Water bodies. One of the greatest problems now is pollution. Pollution we used to know back then in the days was just people going there to dump maybe grasses or simple waste into the water bodies. But today, there are massive pollution of water bodies at both local, national, regional scale. Support organizations working to protect the water bodies, NGOs, and all. Then legislation protecting aquatic life. It's very, very paramount. The next is now water. We have looked at the aquatic life. Now the water itself in general. Now conducting your surface and groundwater should be encouraged to atomize the water use and to alleviate the degradation of water and soil resources. Now, some of these measures include protecting and reducing water pollution by treating sewage and factory waste before disposing them, avoiding wastage of water. Some of us don't believe water is wasted. Some of us don't believe that. But there is actually massive wastage of water going on, especially in a country like ours, and around the world. Now, adopting various technologies for groundwater recharge, population control. Surprising that it's coming in here. Population control. It's a method that can be used to conserve the water bodies. Population control. Because imagine a place where you have the source of drinking water is just one borehole. Now there is no developmental project in that area. There is nothing coming on in that area. So they are still living on status quo, as it were. Now imagine a family, the total family within that area happens to be 20, and they were surviving very well on that one borehole. What happens in the next 10 years if the family increases to 40, still on one borehole? What happens? We'll all start queuing up and giving ourselves time to get water. Now, flood management. This actually strongly affects surface water and groundwater, as it were. Now, irrigational technique, especially changing crop pattern, then enforcing increased forest cover, and also legislation protecting water bodies. Now, for the soil, part of the ways to conserve the soil is prevention of soil erosion, reducing tillage. If we say reducing tillage, then somebody will ask, then how do we farm? That is, keep soil surface intact. If we reduce tillage, then how do we farm? It is not important for you to destroy the whole ground and say you want to do this, you want to do that. That is why during EIA, they always insist, restrict your developmental work to the area you are to use. If you have acquired a mining lease of, say, one football field, and all you are just using is just the goalposts, dimension of the goalposts, there's no need clearing everywhere. Just restrict to the particular area where your developmental work is to take place. Now, cultivation of grasses is very important. It keeps the soil together. Improve farming technique and legislation protecting the soil. Now, the next is air. Now, this is very paramount. Air is what we all breathe in, but we don't see. Now, when studies for air quality is being carried out, there are, I think, suspended particulate matter, SPM. They have level 2.5 and I think 10, thereabout. Now, you don't see 2.5. Now, they tell you accumulation of 2.5 gives you PM10, SPM10. Now, you don't see the 2.5, but you feel it, you inhale it. Just as we are in this room, if there will happen to be a leakage, a gas leakage somewhere, you won't see it, but you perceive it. Now, assuming this place is closed, okay, we have this AC, for example. As it is, we all feel the coolness of the AC. Now, assuming we close the whole vents in here, we close everywhere and allow this thing, it will get to a point you start seeing, it's more like the smoke coming out from there. It's because the 2.5, what has been coming up is accumulated. The accumulation is high. So that is what happens. That's why this is very important. Now, instead of driving in individual cars, this one is something everybody can do. Carpooling. And what is carpooling? We all live in one environment, and we work in the same area, and we all have cars. So of no use we all coming out with our cars. First of all, we'll give ourselves problem coming out. Carpooling is a situation where we just sit down together. Okay, guys, we're using your car on Monday, and we all come out at the time and use this own car. The pollution from our various cars will be reduced for that day. So instead of costing PM10, it's just 2.5. PM2.5 that will cost for that. That is not so minute. It will save a lot of stress, but it's in the long run, it reduces air pollution. Develop efficient, low or no emission public transport system, like I think Abuja is trying to do. They are trying to do. They use efficient coordinated traffic control system. This is just basically for traffic. Now, proper waste disposal and management system is very paramount. Just when you, assuming you're passing beside a refuse dump after a heavy rain, okay, I guess you're breathing fresh air. Maintain and augment the urban forest to uptake and store carbon, filter pollution, produce oxygen, and prevent ground level ozone formation. Planting of trees. People look at it as nothing. Planting of flowers. People look at it as nothing. That is why the horticulturists are so important in our society. But most of us don't know. When you plant trees, for some of us who grew up in the village, you understand when during the dry season, maybe between 12 and 1, when the sun is almost at your head, all you need to do is just find a cool place. And when you get this, it's under the shade of a tree. Now, if those trees are not there, what happens? You go into your room and the ceiling is on you. You get uncomfortable. It also affects the kind of air you breathe. Now, for those in the industrial sector, using electrostatic precipitators for air pollution control, particularly for removing particles from waste gases and industrial facilities are powering them. Now, electrostatic precipitator is a device that is used to control effluents. For those who maybe those involved in mining, maybe a cement plant, you know, when after processing, there's this massive smoke, white smoke that goes up. But if electrostatic precipitators are used, what it does is the various gases, the composition of those gases that are emitted, is trapped. So all that goes out is clean air. It's clean air. It's a technology that works, and a lot of people are presently embracing it and are going fully into it. Now, man. How do we conserve man? We conserve man by educating more people on the dangers of climate change and teach them more eco-friendly methods to use in their way of life. Enforcing all local, national, and international laws, regulations, guidelines, and conventions and agreements regarding protecting man, protecting the human race. Because without the human race, because there's a common saying that the environment can do without man, but man cannot do without the environment. So man itself must be conserved and must be protected. Now, to ensure the most common and simple ones, these are easy to do ones. Now, all what we had listed before happens to be like big things. Now, you and me, our day-to-day life, how do we conserve the environment? Now, the three basic R's that are involved with our conservation of the environment, either in the small, medium, or large scale, is the reduce, recycle, and reuse R's. The reduce, recycle, and the reuse method. Now, for our daily day-to-day activities, because the next slide that will come up is what you and me can factor into our daily activities. And these are: 1, recycling. We are conversant with all this. This happens virtually to everybody when going to work in the morning. This you pass. I think this is one somewhere in Abuja here. But this is the best practice. This is the best practice. Now try to recycle everything you can. Everything you can. And it doesn't cost too much. Let's do 3 waste bin. If you have bottles, this is where bottles go to. If you have plastic, this is where it goes to. If you have the degradables, banana peel, orange peel, pineapple peel, this is where it goes to. It helps a lot. It does help a lot. Our recycling really helps us. Now you empty jars, wine bottles, broken glass, absolutely any other made of glass, which is no longer useful, should be recycled. This can be crushed. Because when you have your bottles, they can be crushed. When you have your plastic, they can be recycled. Then when you have your biodegradables, your orange peel, they can be reused. They can be reused. Now the second, reduce water pollution and consumption. Now these are not fictitious pictures. These are not fictitious images. These are images captured, real life scenarios that are captured. Now this, well, I won't state where they happened. But these are what our environments are like today. Like we said, clean fresh water tends to become more and more precious as time goes by. And if we do nothing to save it in the not so far future, water will be more precious than gold. And why is this so? The entire universe, the planet, is made up of 97% water. And out of the 100% water we have on this planet, 97% is salt water. Out of the 100% water that is on the surface of the earth, 97% is salt water. Only 3% is consumable. And out of this 3%, we only have access to how many? So if we do not, and treating salt water doesn't come easy. Desalination process doesn't come easy. So if we do not treat water, this is what we are supposed to have. But this presently is what we are having. Now, reduce the use of electricity. We think this is it's what you and me can relate with. Not only will it save your pocket, it also conserves energy and saves a whole lot. The lights we have in here, if we stay for too long, discover that you start sweating. They emit heat. And at times, you get to some place where you have a lot of electricity, the place becomes fully charged. Just like when you leak out gas into a room. From any angle, you strike a match, the whole place will explode. That's why presently, energy-saving bulbs have been advised to be used. This we can all relate with in our day-to-day life, conserving the environment. Now, this is what everybody should ensure we do. Plant a tree. No matter how small. If you can't plant a tree, plant a flower. If you say, oh, a tree, I don't know what species of tree, because like me, I think there was a situation I went and planted plantain in my compound, only for me to discover that the thing was just eating up. I had to dig, and digging it out was a problem. I had to ask, and they made me understand that no. I met some ecologists and they said no, for a residential apartment, make sure you have fruit producing trees. Now plant a tree, it goes a long way. If you do this, you will have this. And imagine this, somebody living in this house will enjoy fresh air at all times. At all times. But if you don't do this, well, I think we'll leave it there. But this is very important because it will make the air cleaner and the number of trees will get back to normal. If you plant, you would have more shades for hot, dry season sun. Now pollution will be reduced along with global warming because these trees actually traps carbon and they emit oxygen. That is why when you stay under a tree, you feel cool. You breathe in fresh air because the carbon dioxide that is supposed to come to you, the tree traps it and the tree uses it for its own growth and gives you oxygen for your own growth. So you see the relationship we have with them. So that is why it is important. And it's also important to catch them young. When you teach them how to do this when they are young, the world will be a better place for us. Now, grow vegetables. You wonder what this does to the environment. It does. We say we need to conserve man. We need to conserve man. And we also need to conserve the environment. Now this, if I may ask, you like eating apple. Do you know the source of the apple? Do you know if it is the organic or non-organic apple? You don't know. But we discover today when we go to some of these shopping malls, if you are conversant, discover you see some fruits that ordinarily, from your natural experience, these fruits, after a week, 2-3 days, they start getting bad, if not well preserved. But you see them still remaining there for the next 2-3 weeks, still looking fresh and green. Now, where did it come from? They are non-organic fruits. And the preservative used to keep this has terrible effects on man. So, I eat vegetable a lot. But many a times I don't know where these vegetables are cultivated. Are they cultivated in the dustbin? Beside the dustbin, where leeches, they're sucking leeches. Like an experience we had in Kano. We got to a vegetable farm and we saw everything looking lush green. Lush green. At the dry season, the peak of the dry season. But the vegetable was looking lush green. And there was water flowing beside it. And we're happy, oh, the stream serves it. Only for us to get to the source of the water. And that was the day we stopped eating vegetable from that farm. So it's important for us to cultivate yours if you have the opportunity to. Cultivate yours. And the vegetables we eat today are grown with chemicals and pesticides. If you plant yours without using the above, you will have organic food and excellent quality, beneficial for both health, your own health and the environment. And the land will be less intoxicated with chemicals. Now, another benefit of organic food is more tasty. So you are not only enjoying something, you are enjoying a lot of things. The taste, you're savoring a meal. Composting. I said when we try to do segregate our wastes, the biodegradable ones, you compost them. And this is how you do your composting. If you compost, after a while it turns to this. Use this to grow your farm or to grow your vegetables. I mean, you're best for it. If after you recycle your plastic, your bottles, your glasses, the biodegradables, use it for this, and you get a better outcome for it. Now the next is this. Use rechargeables if possible. How does this contribute to conserving the environment? It does, because a lot of us who use non-rechargeable batteries, they discover that when you finish using it, you just throw them away. Like these remotes, maybe when I try to press and it doesn't work, if I'm not environmentally conscious, I'll just remove it and throw. Now it gets somewhere in the case, lead acid is introduced into the soil, contaminating or intoxicating the soil. But if you do the rechargeable, it's expensive, but at the long run, it pays off. And if possible, I think the world is presently trying to embrace it. Hybrid cars, use electric vehicles. The world is trying to go into making sure this becomes conversant more, so that we move away from the fossil fuel and embrace alternative energy. And that brings us to this. Quit smoking. Sorry to the ladies in the house that I used this first. But this was taken, not a picture somewhere, but was taken. And this said he was flexing, he was enjoying his life. But this is the outcome of these actions. We are trying to conserve money. Just 2 days ago, there was an image on the internet. Somewhere in India, a man offered to donate his lungs at his death. He was brain dead, but volunteered and donated his lungs. That on the point of death, his lungs should be extracted from his body and used to save a life. And immediately he died. The doctors quickly rolled him into the theater, opened him up. They said the initial prognosis, the test and all, done earlier, showed that yes, it was good. But when they opened him up and brought out his lungs, they screamed. The lungs was darker than this. His liver was, that one was black, completely black. And later discovered that the man has an history of 30 years. He was a tobacco smoker for over 30 years. And he died 57, at the age of 57. This is what he does. And I think the manufacturers of these things will tell you smokers are liable to die young. But some people will tell you, my forefathers have been doing it, nothing happened to them. But this is what it does. This is what it does. Now you are not only destroying yourself, you are also destroying the environment. Because the people sitting in here, you are the primary smoker, they are the secondary smoker. You are inhaling nicotine. They are not only inhaling nicotine, they are also inhaling CO2. Because what you are taking in here has a filter in between that filters the CO2 and gives you just nicotine. But they are secondary, they even take more than you. So you are killing yourself and also destroying the lives of others. Now this is the present trend in town. If you are not doing this, you are not in tune with, you are not a white, you are not a century compliant, I don't know how they call it now. You are not Y2K compliant if you are not doing this. But this is the present trend. And research has shown that this has affected conception in women. It affects conception in women. But people are still denying the fact that it's just for fun, there's nothing behind it. So, we have to try and conserve man. This is what we can do. Now, for some of us that have cars, this I experience every day. Incidentally, today, the vehicle I entered today happened to, was almost something like this. I started laughing when I entered the vehicle, and when I got there and looked at the vehicle, I said, wow, I hope this is not the vehicle I took for the president. While this was going on, stopping traffic, everybody got irritated. The eyes, virtually we were crying without being beaten inside the vehicle. Why? We were taking in CO, carbon monoxide, direct into our system on a good Thursday morning. Now, it's not only, it's not this is PM10, right? This is PM10 because the concentration of 2.5 is so much. This is PM10. Now you are emitting this CO and a lot of other combination of polluting the person behind you. Now I think this brings me to the yesterday evening when I was going home. Unfortunately, there was terrible traffic, and the vehicle we were going with got stuck behind a tipper, and we didn't even take note until the tipper wanted to move. Oh Lord, have mercy. What came out of it was more than cloud. It was thick for that. So the best solution is this. Make sure you maintain your car so that you don't destroy the environment and the people in it. Now this alternative energy is very paramount. This is what is presently obtainable today. This is what is obtainable today. Coal, people use energy. This is what is obtainable. But we have wind for free. We have the sun for free. Now, what is this happening? What are we doing with them? Now, this is the natural environment. Imagine you having this, using the wind energy, using the solar, using the water. Just compare this to this. Compare this to this. You have a cleaner environment compared to using the fossil. But they will always make you understand that it's expensive. Like we said, using rechargeable batteries. At the long run, the pay is worth it. Because I know a lot of persons who are presently embrace solar system, solar source of energy, and they are really living to tell you the good tales. Yeah. So please embrace alternative energy and let's preach it. Now, this is very important. Talk and educate people about it. Discussing environmental protection with your community members, friends, family members can really help. The more people that are aware of this environmental protection measure, the more chances we will have to make things better. This is very important. Everybody have to do this. This is at a site. This also was at a site. And this, somebody's laughing, but the person knows this site. So this is very important. Now, these we are very familiar with. These are images of presently how our environment is being conserved. This is the present conservation status of our environment. This was taken somewhere in the Niger Delta. This was taken somewhere in Lagos. This was taken somewhere in Abuja. This, a refuse bin. Now, imagine this, when it rains, leaches, seeps into the soil, pollutes the soil, pollutes the groundwater, affects the people that drinks it. The surface water, it flows into it, affects all aquatic life, destroys everything, makes the water uncomfortable for consumption. Now, just imagine this particular scenario, the compound effect it has on the environment. And you, the man, you will not be able to get fishes because the leachate from here has destroyed the whole thing. And when you don't get fish, the kind of fish you want at the market, you get angry. And when you get angry, your neighbor comes to talk to you about some developmental stuff, you shout at the person, then there's chaos everywhere. All because this has happened. Now you burn. You are causing, this is not interesting to see. But you are also emitting CO. Not only are you emitting CO, there are other VOCs, volatile organic compounds, that are being emitted because this refuse bin is a composition of a lot of things. And when they are all being burnt, they emit all the form of gases these things are made of. Now you are sending CO. This alone causes climate change because you are sending chlorofluorocarbons into the atmosphere. You are heating up the entire climate. Now, this is an aerial picture. You wonder what this is. This is oil spillage. Now, there are communities around this area that depends on this water for their source of livelihood. They're fishing here. The oil spilled some 12 kilometers away, but because of the tide and the topography, they are the ones suffering it. Now, this is how we are conserving our environment. Now, these are used batteries. I deliberately put this because these are used batteries. Now, what does this do? Also polluting the soil, polluting water table, polluting surface water. And once it gets to a point, they also burn them. And when you burn them, they are lead acid batteries. Now, when you burn them, imagine the combination, the kind of chemical reaction that will take place, and this thing will be emitted into the atmosphere. And when you pass through this place, that brings me to a situation where we passed through a particular place, and somebody sneezed about 5 minutes after we passed, sneezed into his handkerchief, and when he brought it out, he screamed like, "Where did I get this thing from?" The handkerchief was black. So imagine what he has taken into his system. So we have to tell him, well, I think you are taking a dose of how the environment is treating us. Now we're also used to this. This one is somewhere around Kuba. Sorry to say, but it's a region for us. This is somewhere in the northeast. Desertification. Fully encroaching. Now this is people's houses. From information, 10 years ago, this whole place was grass. But what has happened? They have cut down all the trees to build houses. Now, it's coming into them. Now, this is somewhere in Kano. The vegetable we're eating, this was where it's coming from. This was the water that was used to water the vegetable we're chopping. And this is from a heights and skin manufacturing company. Now, the water are just being emptied directly into a stream. And this thing, not only this, looking at the color is just nice, but the stench coming from this thing, well, and this is a farmland that had been degraded by oil spillage. Part of what they were supposed to mitigate, the reclamation cleaning exercise, this is part of where it's supposed to take place. But presently, nothing goes on here. Presently. Now this is one of what we have in our mining sector. This is how we do our mining presently. This is a gold mining plant somewhere in Oyo State. This is how we conserve our environment presently, which is not the best. So all these are to be controlled, because what they do here, the gold they are looking for here doesn't appear on its own. The gold is an ore, comes with other gang metals, minerals. Now once they wash them with water, all they are looking for is the gold. Now the other minerals that accompany the silver, they wash them and pour them up, and this thing seeps into the ground. Now we had lead poisoning some time ago in Zamfara State. These are the processes with which lead poisoning occurs. Because once it rains, this gold that has been created, once it rains, rain washes, the flood washes this whole thing into the nearby surface water, and it flows. And people some meters away, kilometers away, will be getting the effect. Now I hope can we picture where this is in Nigeria? This is Sambisa Forest. It's so beautiful. But this is how it will be if we don't manage it well. Presently, some part of Sambisa Forest is already like this, with the airstrikes and everything going on. Some parts of Zambia is already like this. And the composition of wildlife, the ecologist will tell us better about that. The composition of wildlife in here is massive. But this is what it's going to be like very soon. Now, this is what we are supposed to be having. What we are supposed to be having if the environment is well conserved. Drink water at will. Maybe that community I said, maybe the population size grows, you have clean water, everybody takes water. Encourage cultivation. It also creates a lot of economic benefits to people and feeds a lot of persons. Now, this is Arugungu Festival in Kebbi State. If you reduce overfishing, if you reduce the overfishing madness, you'll be able to allow the river itself recharge itself and the species in there grow to the length you need. But when you fish in there regularly, they will not be able to grow to such length. So that is why this particular activity is encouraged. Where after this activity, everybody goes, the water is left undisturbed until the next festival to give room for them. This is somewhere in Kogi State. This is somewhere in Kogi State. I think that in Donkwano or something like that in Kogi State. Now these are catfish. These are species of catfish. Seeing them was exciting because the largest one I've seen before was just a bit, but seeing this naturally in the water, I mean, it's interesting. These are what you're supposed to be having. Now, importance of conservation. We've talked about metals and all. Conservation is important for many reasons. To agriculture, like we discussed, for us to have more agriculture, more food, create job opportunities. For the climate, not to pollute and destroy the climate, because if we look, basically we discover that most of the effect of climate change, we say Africa is developing. But Asia, they are going faster than us, and they are using modern day technology. But we discover that the pollution, they are polluting, and we are receiving it. They are causing the pollution, but we are the ones receiving it. Because the circle, climatic circle, they are emitting the whole chlorofluorocarbons. Once this thing distorts their environment, we take it more through having torrential rainfall, causing flooding, causing destruction of farmlands. Importance to health. We know what this will do for us if we conserve every component of the environment. We know we will all live well. Now, importance to life, both terrestrial, animal, aquatic, and all, it improves. Now, importance to humans. Now, if these are not done, this is what will happen to Mother Earth. Mother Earth will one day, like we said, the environment can do without us, but man cannot do without the environment. If we do not conserve the environment properly, one day, Mother Earth will lie dead. And when it lies dead, the whole field becomes fallow. An extinction has taken place. But it will regenerate itself, while man will be nowhere to be found. Thank you very much for listening.